Cole getting closer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think about it?
Well, I mean,
not that I'm a fan of Jeremy Cole.
No, I mean, I will say I used to watch it.
I used to watch it. It's almost like
when I was.
Well, everyone watched it for entertainment. But
yeah, exactly. I never watched it as a serious fucking program.
You watch it kind of like.
Steph used to love it. She used to watch it all the fucking time. And I can see. I can see why they've done it. I mean, it's shit TV anyway. like, do you know what I mean? All them sort of programs are bollocks. But I can see why they've done it.
Yeah.
But it also, like, I don't know, like, because the bloke killed himself, didn't he? Yeah. But like, I don't know. It's one of them things like, when does their aftercare stop? And when are they meant to look after someone? I mean, like, obviously, if you're going on Jeremy Cole, like, obviously, you're not the most sane of individuals in the world. But, I mean, I don't know, like, yeah, like I say, where does their aftercare stop? Where are they expected to?
Well, I saw there was an interview with. I never watched this, but did you hear of a program called Benefit Street?
I've heard the name. I've never seen the program, but I know.
I think the basis of it was either something ridiculous like 90, something stupid % were on benefits, or if not, everyone on the street was on like job seekers. But she went on there for a celebrity special. I don't know why that's a celebrity.
Who?
A woman from Benefit Street.
She went on Jeremy Cole as a celebrity.
She went on Jeremy Cole
Fucking
as
hell,
a celebrity
really?
special, but she was vouching for him, saying, "Oh yeah, beforehand was really good, on the day was really good, aftercare was really good, this that." But there's emergencies of like other people who are meant to have committed suicide, but I won't miss it at all.
No,
it's not good telly anyway. It's just
like I say,
it's a bad concept.
Yeah, it's taking advantage of people. Like, it's not. You shouldn't aspire to go on the Jeremy Cole show. Like, and I will say some of the people that go on there do seem fairly normal. But like, why would you go on to national TV?
They're few and far between.
Yeah. And he used to piss me off, fucking Jeremy Cole.
I know.
He used to act the fucking big man when he had his fucking
oh, Steve!
Yeah, his security guard there. He was fucking shouting at people. He'd be getting right in people's faces.
Did you ever see that video where someone
throws the fucking
frisbee near his head?
Yeah.
Like hits his head, didn't it? That was a fucking good shot.
But all them programs are shit anyway. Like,
but there was another. After this bloke committed suicide, it emerged about another woman. There was a connection between her. She, not long after she'd been on it, she's meant to have committed suicide. And while I won't miss it at all, I fucking hate Jeremy Cole as a person. He's a dickhead, and it's not a good concept of TV.
No, it's not. It's
making money off people's relationships.
It's almost like it becomes like a parody of itself. Like, because he must know how shit it is, and he must play up to that as well.
Yeah, of course.
Like, because you can't, unless you're that deluded, you can't think that's your entertainment.
The fact
people.
is, they're gonna edit it and they're gonna make it as profitable as possible.
Yeah, well, it's like. Do you know what it sort of reminds me of? It sort of reminds me a little bit of like programs like X Factor, when you get the fucking nutters that go on there, and they leave that in just so people laugh at it. Like, and that's what the whole of Jeremy Cole was. Like, people would go on there, and you could tell they were just fucking. Some of them were just skagheads.
Yeah.
Like, and they've just gone on there because they think it's or they're looking to make money out of it.
Yeah.
But I mean,
or they want to be a local celebrity.
Yeah, something like that. Or they're just that fucking thick that they think it's that's it. I don't know. I mean, like you say, I'm not gonna miss it. And I saw a funny thing that was like, what's Jeremy Cole gonna watch during the day now that he's unemployed? I can't remember if I saw it on Twitter or something like that.
Do you know what the nickname for Boundary Road is?
Yeah, what? I think I've heard it's going to do with Jeremy Cole. I'm assuming. No, I've heard. I mean, that's not far off.
Yeah.
Anyone that lives around this area knows that Boundary Road's fucking
Jeremy Cole Mile.
Yeah, that's about right. Although I will say, fucking George Street gives it a run for its money as well. We went down George Street the other day, and that's full of just skagheads. Like, but it's getting like in and out of fucking shops trying to sell shit that they've obviously fucking nicked, and you just think, oh fucking hell, like, where the fuck am I living? Like, it's mental. But no, Jeremy Cole, I'm not going to miss that program, and there'll be other programs that pop up that I like it. Yeah. It's not going to stop them because you used to have programs like in America, like Jerry Springer, all that shit, and then you had the ones over here like Trisha and stuff like that. Did I tell you my dad was on Trisha? Not on Trisha.
Oh, in the audience?
As in not, yeah, he wasn't in the actual. Yeah, he was in the audience, and he got up and spoke one time.
Did he get on TV?
He's good at videotape. And he stood up because it was something to do with it was a bloke. I can't remember exactly what it was. Like the bloke was an actor, but he was also a firefighter, and my dad's obviously a firefighter. And he was an actor, and my dad like stood up and said, because you've met my fucking dad, you know what he's like. And he stood up and he said something to Trisha, and she was like, "Oh, what do you do then?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm a fireman." And the fucking women in the audience were all like, "Ooh!" It's so embarrassing. And I was like, and the fact he's fucking videotaped.
You got a recording of it somewhere.
I'll have to. My dad will have it on video. I'll have to get hold of it because it's so fucking cringy.
You need to digitise that so you
don't
lose it.
I will have to. But yeah, it does make me laugh. But it's like I say, all them type of fucking programs, you're never gonna stop them because people were desperate for attention. A lot of it is, attention. It's almost like really shitty, really weird reality TV.
Yeah.
That's what it's like. But like I say, you're not gonna ever stop it, and it's there's gonna be programs that come up like it again. And then something else will happen to someone else, and it'll be the whole fucking thing again. But
their stance was like, "Oh, it's run its course," but they weren't citing that incident as, "Oh, yeah, we caused his suicide."
Yeah, well, they won't ever admit it because then they just get sued. Yeah.
Then on the other side,
and I don't think you could class them as being as. I was gonna say you can't class them as being responsible.
Yeah, you're about to get into what I was saying. People who jump on the bandwagon and say, "Oh yeah, it should be your fault. They've killed it," but you don't know all the other aspects.
No,
of it.
And also, like I say, how much care do you give someone? Like, I mean, if you want to go on Jeremy Kyle, then yeah, you should jump off a bridge. But that's not the. Do you know what I mean? That's not the point. Like, speaking of TV shows, did you see? Well, I sent you that thing about Arthur, about the gay character in Arthur.
Yeah.
One, I didn't even know Arthur was still on the fucking TV. I thought that was a 90s thing that was on when I was a kid, and it's still making. It's like it's on like season 22. It's ridiculous. But now I've seen because obviously people don't know the story. There's a character in it called Mr. Ratburn, and he turns out he's gay and he's having a gay wedding or something in one of the episodes, and all the kids come to it. I mean, one, how sad if you're inviting fucking kids that you teach at your fucking wedding.
Yeah.
But now I saw apparently because all that stuff's been kicking off in it about sort of ties into that stuff about. I think it's in Birmingham. They're protesting about teaching kids about same-sex relationships and stuff. Well, apparently now Alabama TV or something like that is refusing to air the episode of Arthur with the teacher getting married. Like, it's a cartoon about fucking talking animals and shit, and they're fucking and they're refusing to do it over that. Like, because I saw one quote. It was like how we meant to teach the kids about this and all that sort of stuff. It's like, yeah, but it's a fucking talking rat. Like, I don't think that's what you need to fucking worry about. And I think Alabama, you might have bigger problems on your fucking plate than fucking what's going on Arthur. Like, the next thing will be fucking his sister getting a fucking abortion or something.
Everybody that you meet wants to dig where they're meant to pull.
Fucking ridiculous. But yeah, it did make me laugh.
But did you see about the Siri and Alexa?
I saw the headline of this earlier. I haven't read the story, but I saw the headline.
I haven't read the whole thing either, but yeah, the people who've done the study are basically saying the way people talk with Alexa and Siri, and I'm sure there's other voice systems as well, but the way they reply to inappropriate questions, and they're flirtatious, and why is it a woman instead of a man?
But you can change it to a bloke, can't you? I mean, Alexa, obviously, I don't know if she should start listening now. Stop listening, Alexa. There you go. Yeah. But Siri, you can change to a bloke.
You know.
Yeah, because
I thought because when I had
it's
it,
automatically
ago,
a woman. I think
it used to be a bloke.
But Steph's got it on her phone, and hers is a bloke.
Yeah.
So you can change that. And I don't think it's specified. Well, I don't know what it says. Whether it says like male, female, shit like that. I mean, I'm not being funny, right? That there's bigger shit to worry about with these sort of things than if it enforces gender rules and all this bollocks. Like, because that thing's listening to you all the time. Yeah. Like, that's something to worry about. Have you ever had it right where
I wouldn't feel comfortable having it plugged in.
No, honestly, she'll pipe up sometimes when we don't even speak to her.
Whose idea was it to get?
Steph wanted. Well, we bought one each other for Christmas because I knew she wanted one. She bought me one. But it'll pipe up when you're not even speaking to it. Like, it'll just start randomly saying stuff, or you won't say its name, and then you'll say something else, and it will start giving you like facts about it and stuff. And it's like, like calm down, like it's mental. But I think there's bigger things to worry about. Because have you ever had it where you'll be talking about something to someone, and then all of a sudden, like say like 2 or 3 days later, you'll be like on your computer or you'll be doing whatever, and all of a sudden you'll have an advert pop up for what you were talking about. Have you ever had that?
Yeah.
It's fucking weird. Because obviously I get it if you're browsing stuff online, like then adverts pop up, like I get that. But when you're having a conversation about something and all of a sudden, like on a pop-up or down the side of a website, it starts popping up with the stuff that you've mentioned, that's dodgy to me. Yeah, that's dodgy to me. Because that means that people are listening like constantly, which is fucking, that's worrying. Because it's getting into that age of like, well, I've got this, it's like, so for example, Steph sent me this message the other day. She's like, I've downloaded this app. It basically, you link to one account and it shows you where her phone is. Like, it pinpoints it. It's called Life 360 or something.
Me and Becca done that as well, in case I had a seizure or something.
Well, that's a valid point. She texts me and says, download this thing in case I get kidnapped. And I was like, I can see what you're saying, but really, really? But it's like, even that, like, is because it tells you, like, it pinpoints your exact location. It's got, like, your battery life. So I can see her battery life, like, and apparently she texted me the other day, says, "Oh, that thing just told me that you need to charge your phone." And I was like, "Fucking hell!" Like, it's very intrusive. Like, so I think, like I say, the fact that it reinforces gender roles or whatever it says there, what it say, gender biases.
Yeah,
I think there's other things to worry about.
It says they've got a flirtatious nature about the way the way they talk, and I'm like, don't you think you're overlooking the fact that before they released these products and when they were in beta stages, I think it's overlooking the fact that they would have had a vast number of people who they were putting these products to, and the result would have been that by and large these people were felt a female voice to be more approachable.
Yeah.
Among other reasons. I mean, and personally, in my limited experience of speaking with Siri or Alexa, I've never felt like they flirted with me, so I'm starting to feel a bit left out.
Yeah, I was going to say, my Alexa isn't hitting on me, so I don't know what's going on there. But I mean, like, I think, like, what waste of time? Who cares? Like, it's a fucking machine that someone's made that tells you things. Like, does it really matter what it sounds like? Like, it doesn't, to me. I mean, don't get me wrong, like Steph says it to me sometimes. Like, I'll say something to her, not to Steph, to Alexa, and she's like, you need to say thank you. I'm like, I'm not fucking saying thank you to the fucking machine. Or it's like, I will say, it does sound, because it sounds like a woman, like, maybe I don't treat it with as much respect as I could. I do tell it to shut the fuck up sometimes. I mean, maybe if it was a bloke I wouldn't. Who knows? Maybe that study is right. Maybe it is, I'm reinforcing, but then I don't go around telling women to shut up.
Yeah.
So maybe it's because it's a fucking machine and it doesn't know what.
Make sure you cut this bit out, but I'm not going to lie. The first time I ever spoke to Siri, it did give me a boner, but that was when it first got released and it was just a bloke. So I don't believe it is true. It's not only the female voice which is flirtatious.
No. And again, like, what waste of fucking time? Do you know what I mean? Like, surely there's better things you could put your money into than researching that. It's a fucking machine that people have gone at, have made, that tells you, like, the weather and stuff. That's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
Until it starts, like, growing legs and tries to start slitting my throat in the night.
Yeah.
When the robot revolution comes, I'm not going to worry too much about it.
Yeah.
I'm really not going to worry too much about it. So until
it starts getting really flirtatious.
Well, yeah. Until it becomes a point where I have to decide who I want to be with, Siri or my wife. It's a bit, Oh, that's something I want to.
Who's more likely to shut up when you tell them to?
Well, after dealing with fucking Alexa, I don't know. I don't know which one.
Until Alexa starts telling me she's hotter than a central processing unit, I'm not going to worry.
Yeah, exactly. So, but that's what I want to talk about. So it's been a while since we've done one of these. It's been like a month or something.
Yeah.
So in that time, I got married. You were the best man.
Yeah.
Right. I wanted to ask you, because I will say you did a very good best man speech.
Oh, God.
I'll admit it. But so did a few other people. And I know, at any point, when you were getting the numerous compliments, apart from not being black and being alive, did you think you were Martin Luther King? Did you in your head? Did you think, well, actually, I mean, if the comparison's there?
Yeah, I felt like a revolutionary. Every time I got a compliment, I think my dick went further down my trousers. I nearly tripped over it by the end of it.
Because it was a good speech. I mean, I'm even thinking what I might do is I might chop it up. I might put, because we've got 2 videos of it. We've got the one facing you and the one of me and Steph.
Yeah.
I might chop them up and I might put them up after this so people can watch it. Because it was very good and it was very funny. If you watch the video of me, so someone videoed you doing the speech and someone at the same time videoed mine and Steph's reaction. Yeah. If you look at look at Steph, because she doesn't know, like, we know you, but other people that don't know you, like, I would say, well, we say from about a year out from the wedding, I was so looking forward to your speech because she was so terrified of what it was going to be. Every time she mentioned it, she was like, I just don't know what he's going to say. What is he going to say? Oh, you know that. And I was pissing myself because I was like, whatever it says, it's going to be funny. Like, so it doesn't matter to me because I'm not going to, even if it embarrasses me, like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
But I was like, so from like a year's run up, she was so, like, not stressed about it because she wasn't stressed about it, but she was getting so het up. It was so funny. And if you watch the video, like, when it came to it, I felt the exact same way. Like, I didn't give a shit what you said, like, because whatever you say, like, you know, doesn't bother me. But, like, it was not knowing what you were going to say, and the fact that, like, I was surrounded by all of my family, people that don't know you. Because, like, if you say something to me, there's, like, me, I know what you're talking about, Steph knows what you're talking about, Becca knows what you're talking about, and then there's the 2 Toms would have known some stuff that we were talking about. Yeah. But everyone else doesn't know you properly. So, like, and there's a point as well when you mention my mum and her fucking face.
I was about to say that.
Because she's like, what the fuck is he going to say?
It was almost, you can almost sense the adrenaline out of my body because it was, the words had barely come out of my mouth. We all know that sound travels pretty fast, and it was almost, I was amazed that the sound had hit her ears before her face dropped.
It did. It was so funny.
She looked round like
the terror that she showed to think, oh fucking hell, what's gonna be said now is so funny. But I say I might chop the videos. I might put the videos side by side and put them up because they're good to watch.
You've got to pay attention to Josh's mum's face. She's to the right and wearing a blue dress?
Yeah.
And when her name was mentioned, which it was only once, and just for clarification, it was in a very positive context.
Yeah. Well, we'll say none of it was, because I think that's what Steph was worried about, that it was going to be like it was going to be really embarrassing, but it wasn't. Like, no, I wasn't embarrassed by it. Yeah. Like, sometimes I don't know what the fuck's going to come out of your mouth, but it doesn't embarrass me.
I don't know what's going to come out of my mouth.
Exactly. But so I think that's what she was worried about. But I was like, yeah, but he'll only do it to be funny, so it doesn't matter. Like, no one's, it's not gonna.
You both have plenty of moments where your face is in your hands. Like,
yeah. I will say. Oh yeah, I was. When it came to it, when you got up and you had the bloke gave you the mic, like, I'd be lying if I said my heart didn't start pumping a little bit faster. And I was sort of like, I didn't want to look at you because I didn't want to be like, I just wanted to be like, I was just like, oh fucking hell, like, here we go.
You weren't the only one whose heart was going.
Well, yeah, to be fair, you got to stand up in front of me.
That's one of the things you only get to do once.
Yeah. Well, you did. It was very good. It was very good.
I fucked it up.
Steph's even watched it again. I heard her watching it the other day, and no, it is very good. I will say you did a good job. But it was from about a year out, watching her face every time I mention it, she was so fucking like getting so uptight about it. It was so funny.
You know, as soon as I finished that speech and stepped off the stage, you know what made me realise that not necessarily that it was a really good speech like people told me, because maybe they were just being polite. But the one thing that made me realise that it obviously wasn't shit is that Tom Somerville, and you people don't know Tom Somerville, me and him have always had a love-hate relationship, but he'll rip on me like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah.
And the first thing he does is like, yeah, you've done well there, mate.
Yeah,
well. And I'm like, what the fuck? To
be fair, he probably had a few drinks by that point.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
And I say that's probably the only few drinks he had, because by the end of the fucking night, and I'm going to give you a shout out, Tom, if you're listening to this, by the end of the night, the amount of drink that you fucking spilled around the place was ridiculous. Literally, you had a cup in your hand every 30 seconds, and it was half empty because you were fucking. You ended up at the end of the night tipping it over me. The amount of fucking alcohol that he must have wasted on that fucking floor in that place was ridiculous. And then another person, who I know he does listen to this, is fucking Tom Jackson. That bloke, when he's fucking pissed, I've got so many videos of him doing fucking dances and fucking, because Tom Jackson is he's very straight bloke. Yeah. Fucking hell, I didn't expect that when he did a few drinks. Dancing to fucking Taylor Swift, and then fucking when he has to go home, he comes up to Steph and goes, "I've got to go home now." And she's like, "All right." He goes, "Yeah, the other Tom's telling me it's time to go." And she went, "Well, yeah, it probably is then." He goes, "Yeah, but it's because I'm white." Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
That reminds me of another comment. This was earlier on when he was started to get a bit drunk, but he was nothing like he was by the end, because by the end he could barely stand up.
Yeah.
By the end of it, yeah. It's just that from how much Tom Somerville and Tom Jackson drunk, Tom Somerville's got a better tolerance to alcohol. Because earlier in the day we were sat there, both Toms were there, and they'd been talking about something while I've been around the corner, and I got to him, and Tom Jackson goes to me, "Yeah, we were just saying that we're at a very ethnically diverse wedding," and I sort of had a look round, and I was like, "But I can't see any other
races."
What? And they were like, "Yeah, exactly." I was like, "Oh, right." I couldn't sense any sarcasm in his voice. He went straight over my head.
It was funny. Can you tell me? Can you run me through step by step of what happened when you had a choice between your child and playing the music for the aisle? Because at this point, right? So when you turned up, I picked you up. I took you to the venue after I picked up the other groomsmen, and I said to you, right, can you play the music when Steph comes down the aisle? Because you're sat at the side where the speaker is. I have to be on the, because basically we got married outside, and we had to be underneath. I don't know what you'd call it. It was like a little, I say gazebo, but that makes it sound shit. I don't know the other word for it. I don't know what you would call it. But it wasn't a gazebo. It was a proper like built structure. But I had to be underneath it because basically normally you have to get married. I think you have to get married that's got 4 walls and a roof. So I had to be underneath that to get married, blah, blah, blah. So I couldn't come out of there because the registrar would have probably shot me because she was fucking a bit uptight. So I said to you when you got there, I said, "Look, can you do the music when she comes down the aisle?" And you were fine with that, like, and it was in a playlist. It was literally, really straightforward, and that was fine. So talk me through what happened, because I didn't actually see this, but I wish I had done. So talk me through what happened.
Right. So, just to be clear beforehand, Josh gave me clear instructions. I followed them clear instructions, and people, including again Tom Somerville, who rip on me whenever he gets a chance, and Tom Jackson, who was sat both to my left, straight after they said, "Yeah, okay, you didn't do anything wrong," but my view was I was the person doing this music, so somehow it had to go wrong. And before Steph came and started walking down the aisle and whatnot, I plugged it into her phone. I made sure I got the right password, unlocked it, I tested it out, and it all played fine. The speaker was plugged in, turned on, happy as Larry. She's walking down the aisle, I press play, happy as Larry again. It's all working fine. Registrar looks at me, pause, turn it off, lovely. They're going through the sort of speeches and the ceremony, and I get that look again because Josh had told me when to prompt to play the music again. I knew it was that time, but I get a look from the registrar and I press play. Music starts playing fine. Only I'm thinking, hang on, that's a bit quiet.
I will say, I was stood there and I was like, doesn't sound like that sounds fucking well quiet.
Yeah, Steph told me afterwards she didn't even realise that something had gone wrong, but she just said, oh, now when I told her the story of what happened, she was like, "Oh yeah, I do think it was a bit quiet." Yeah. But it didn't really, well, probably had other thoughts on her mind. But anyway, I press play, it starts playing absolutely fine. Only problem is it's coming out the fucking speaker on the phone. Now, again, just to be clear, no leads have been unplugged. No apps have been closed on the phone. Nothing had happened which should have stopped that thing coming out the speaker. Only I've got my lovely little 18-month-old boy Jackson on my lap, who I will say done very well throughout the ceremony. He kept very quiet by and large until I had to run off at the end because he started shouting his mouth off and wouldn't eat his biscuit. But I had him sat on my lap. I'm sat there thinking, oh my god. And I'm pausing it and playing it again. I try closing the app and open it again. I was trying to type the password in, and I'd done it wrong. And Tom Jackson said I looked like a paranoid schizophrenic when I was trying to like put the password in. Nearly put my finger through the phone. Played it and it was just coming out the phone. So I realised there was a cable going about a good 6 foot to the speaker leading up to me. And I thought, okay, I need to turn that speaker on and off because it was a pretty big speaker. We're not talking like little Bluetooth thing here. We're talking a big thing.
It was a proper speaker.
Yeah, proper speaker. And only when I made the decision that I had to go and turn that speaker on and off, I neglected to properly consider the fact that I had my little boy on my lap. So I half lifted him off to the ground, and as I'm going to get up, I kind of might have dropped him a little bit. And I run over to speaker, turn it off and on, play, and yeah, the music's playing fine. It's coming out the speaker now, and I'm just thinking, oh, I'm going to get fucking rinsed for this. And I didn't even think about him. It didn't even cross my mind. I got to sit back on my seat, pick him up, and I didn't even realise that I dropped him, to be honest. And then after the ceremony, I've got Tom Jackson and Tom Somerville saying to me, oh, I love how you just lobbed your son on the floor afterwards. And then by the end of the night, when we'd all had a few drinks and we were all finding it funny, I was like, yeah, I pretty much chokeslammed him on the floor, didn't I?
I will say that dedication, like that's because the thing is, because I only heard about it, I didn't see it because I was facing forward the whole time, so I didn't see it.
Yeah.
So
well, it's pretty simple. You're only gonna have one wedding ceremony in your life. He's 18 months. He's still got. I mean, I think your brain don't stop developing until you're in mid-20s, late 30s.
Say, yeah. So he's
got a good another 30 years for his brain to develop. So a little knock. And just so we're clear here, no one needs to ring the. I said RSPCA then.
No, RSPCA.
Sometimes he isn't.
Well, they can ring
NSPCC or social services. He didn't cry.
And it wasn't that far. It wouldn't have been that far of a drop.
It wouldn't have been that far of a drop.
And every baby gets dropped. Like my uncle once when I was a kid, he was throwing me up in the air. He threw me up and I hit my head on the fucking ceiling. Like, well, exactly. Well, I'm so smart. But yeah, every kid gets dropped. I still drop Steph now when I carry her around. So it's fine. You
just get a baby grow for her.
I do.
Not baby grow, baby carry.
It's funny. We used to change the subject completely. We were at my auntie's and my cousin's got like a little moped that he drives about, and he's got a little backpack that he has, and it's for their dog because the dog's only small. It's like a really small, just fluffy thing, and he puts it in the backpack. And me and Steph were talking about it. I was like, yeah, I should get one of them for you, like when I ride my bike and that, because she's fucking small enough to fit in it. She's like, yeah, actually. And I said, yeah, but the thing is, you'd love that because you're so fucking lazy sometimes. I could just fucking cycle you round. But no, you did very well, and it was very impressive. And yeah, dedication that you'd let your firstborn child drop to the floor.
I said, I'm only gonna do one wedding speech, and if the worst had happened, then I can always have another kid.
Yeah, that's true.
And it was only about a 10-foot drop.
Yeah, it wasn't. He only fell out of a tree, so it was alright.
I did neglect to mention the fact we were right next to a hill with quite a steep gradient, and
ended up doing that fucking cheese chasing thing where they run down the hill. That's what it was like.
Yeah.
And they chase that fucking block of cheddar or whatever it is. I don't know, what is it? Is it Redam or something?
Wensleydale?
That's some bullshit.
That's
have you seen that?
Yeah.
That's fucking mental.
Yeah.
Like, there's people that go on a Jerry Kyle show, and then there's those fucking idiots. Like, because some of them get really bad, like, concussion and stuff from it.
Oh, people have had plenty of broken bones on that.
Bad.
They're literally, well, 9 out of 10 people listening to this probably know what we're referring to, but anyone who doesn't, basically, I don't know what cheese it is. It might be Wensleydale or some.
It better be some fucking good cheese.
Yeah, I hope so. But basically, the way it works is they all line up at the top of this famous hill. I don't even know where this is. Somewhere up north.
Yeah, it's got to be somewhere up north, isn't it?
This really steep hill. And when I say really steep hill, we're talking the sort of hill that's you're gonna just about be able to climb up. Only when it's not raining. Though.
Yeah.
We're talking about a really steep hill.
Like it's nearly a 90-degree fucking angle.
Yeah, the sort of hill where to walk down it, you're almost laying back on your arse.
Yeah.
And they take this block of cheese. It's not block. It's like a wheel of cheese. And they roll it down this hill, and they've all got to chase it down it. And
so, do you know what the rules are? Are the rules like? Are you trying to catch the cheese? Are you trying to beat the cheese down? What? I don't even know what the rules are.
I think it's the first person to be able to catch the cheese.
Right.
And yeah, just to put it in context for anyone who hasn't seen these videos, nobody, and I mean nobody, is running down this hill with their feet touching the floor the entire time.
And also, no one's going to catch that fucking cheese. It's a fucking wheel.
Yeah.
And they're a person. Like, that's ridiculous. Anyway.
Everyone, within a few seconds, is falling flat on their face, but we're talking about the gradient of this hill. We're talking about you ain't going to stop yourself rolling.
No. Well, you're not going to stop yourself full stop. As soon as you take one step, you're fucking gone.
Yeah, you see people pretty much doing an entire roly-poly, smashing their heads.
Well, they end up looking like fucking Peter out Family Guy, and then when he like fucking has a car crash or something, he's like arms behind his back, his fucking legs twisted out.
Yeah.
That's what it fucking looks like. It's ridiculous. Whose fucking idea that was, I don't know. But that's mental. Like I said, because you're never going to catch that fucking cheese. It's a fucking wheel. Like, that's going to pick up so much speed down that fucking hill. You got no chance. Like, it just makes me laugh. Like, the human race does some questionable things.
Yeah, we'll leave on some of that in a minute because it's clearly going downhill. I don't know. I feel like there's
no pun intended. Or was it pun
down the hill.
That was a good one.
Let's just say that I did intend that.
Yeah.
Right? So anyway, as I was just saying about with my brilliant, obviously intended pun of the human population going downhill. Yeah, that was totally intended. Yeah, that brings me to another story actually that's been progressing through this week because it's an incident that's happened more than once, and it's about certain political figures being given a free milkshake.
A number of free milkshakes.
Yeah, so I think the first person it happened to that I knew of was Tommy Robinson, and most people probably know who Tommy Robinson is, but if not, he's leader of the English Defence League. Basically an army of fascists. We're not talking about a political organisation that's got credible policies. We're talking about people who go out putting posts accusing every Muslim of being a rapist, saying that we should close off all borders and extradite Muslims. Yeah, just not very nice people. And I mean, there's basically a video of him and you can see he's standing there and he's got all his sort of cronies around him, all these knuckleheads who obviously share views with him, and I think he's trying to compensate for something because he's quite a small guy anyway, and I think he's got deep-rooted issues in his head. But they're all standing around him, and he's kind of talking to this guy who I'm assuming is a Muslim. He's clearly of Asian descent, but
yeah, but he's still getting in his face.
Yeah, he's getting in his face with his body language. He's trying to be very intimidating. He's making accusations towards him. And when he makes one of these accusations, I can't quite hear what he was saying, but this bloke who's standing there enjoying his milkshake decides to throw it straight over Tommy Robinson's face. And when he does do this, Tommy Robinson and all his mates just jump on him like a pack of hyenas, and they're all trying to punch him.
Well, even Tommy Robinson's trying to punch him.
Yeah, even Tommy Robinson. And one of his associates is trying to drag him away because it's obviously not good publicity because it's being recorded.
But also if it sort of shows his true colours really, because if you're, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, if you're trying to be diplomatic about something, like, he's not trying to discuss something, is he? Like, he's trying to put his point across, and he's not interested really in what anyone else has got to say. Like, because he thinks he's 100% right, and that's it. Like, because really, if someone does that to you, and if you're a bit smarter than him, you wouldn't retaliate, and you'd be saying to people, no, don't do anything, because it makes everyone else that he's associated with and him look bad. Yeah, it's not a very smart move to start trying to kick the shit out of someone either. Yeah,
I think you can draw. There's a contrast there because I wouldn't for a second suggest someone being a Muslim would abscond them of any wrongdoing or any sort of debate or implications that person might have done wrong. But you're not talking about an entire religion here. I mean, if people want to have a debate, that's fine. If you're debating about implications of maybe a paedophile ring that's prominently men of that origin, then that does happen. But there's also plenty of paedophile rings of men of white origin.
Yeah, this is the thing. From what I've seen of him, he's like it's like that very like paint everyone with the same brush type of. It's, you know, like, but the thing is, that's a ridiculous way to think in any situation, because if you tar all the same people with all the same brush. Like everyone's a person at the end of the day. People do fucked up shit. Other people don't do fucked up shit. It doesn't really matter what your ideology is or your what religion you are, like, because if you even if you do things because of that, you're just doing it because you're a bit of a fucking idiot. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, people that go around blowing people up, or people go around, or white people go around shooting people. It's like you're doing that because you're like fucked in the head. That's not really, you might profess it to be, because God told me to do this, or I believe in this, blah, blah, blah. But no, but you're doing it because you're a fucking idiot. Because there's plenty of people that follow God that don't do stupid shit, and that are kind to each other and go about their day-to-day life not affecting people.
Here's the fact of the matter, and without trying to sensationalise the story, because clearly he's not been on trial, so as far as the British law and government are concerned, he wouldn't be defined as a terrorist. But what is the definition of terrorism? It's using fear, trying to get people to act the way you want them to act or think the way you want to think. And some of the comments he's making and some of the posts that he puts up and the sort of things he's saying, again, trying to imply this on this entire class of people, saying that they should completely stop them at the borders and they should start deporting people and this is our country. That's within the definitions of terrorism. He's trying to scare people to think in the same way he's thinking. And
I mean, it's funny as fuck. Like, to be honest, whenever someone gets a milkshake for him, it's pretty funny, regardless of who it is. Whether it's Tommy Robinson or it's someone else. I mean, all right, you shouldn't probably condone it, because really that's not the way things should be done. But really,
I don't condone a lot of things, but I still find it funny.
Yeah, exactly. I still think it's funny. Like, and I get people are saying, oh yeah, but you can't condone it. You shouldn't be doing this sort of thing. Yeah, but like, some people that's just how some people react to things. I mean, some people do it. Like, it's like when people throw eggs at politicians and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, are you doing it for what reason? Are you doing it for? Like, are you doing it to try and get because you actually believe in what you're saying, or is it because you're trying to get like in the papers and stuff? I mean, with this, I genuinely think obviously he pisses people off.
One thing I will say, because you can't be completely one side in these debates. You do have to look at both sides. And one thing I will say,
if you agree with his views,
you're not meant to say that on camera. Yeah, I obviously agree with views. But the other thing that I would say is wrong, because I support Tommy Robinson clearly. The one thing that's wrong with throwing that milkshake at Tommy Robinson, and the other guy should be berated for this, is that was probably a fucking good milkshake.
Yeah. Do you know what would have been even funnier though? Is if you thrown a chocolate milkshake at them. That would have been funny. That would have been more ironic. If he'd have
bang! You are, jump on him.
Yeah, it'd have been. But you can tell, like, the people around him, because I've seen videos of him at like rallies he does and stuff like that. Like, and you can tell the people around him are just there. Whether it's with racism, it's always I always not struggled to sort of understand it, but like, because in those people's heads, like, unless they're just a cunt, like they genuinely believe what they say. So like when someone's, so say you got a white supremacist, they genuinely believe in their head that they're right, that black people are inferior or other races are inferior, blah 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 blah. But like, so I don't know whether he genuinely believes what he's saying. Only Tommy Robinson can tell you that, But you can tell the people around him are just racist. Like there's no political motive. There's no reason behind it other than they don't like people that aren't the same colour as them. Because you see, like I say, there's videos online, and people, you can tell that's all they are. And he pisses people off, like, and you can see why.
It's populism. They're trying to appeal to the broad public, and it's the sort of things that'll happen is you'll see a news story about I'm making this up, by the way. This is theoretical, but these sort of stories exist. But you might see a story on the Daily Mail or Daily Mirror or the Sun or another newspaper talking about a Syrian refugee who was granted asylum here, then 5 days later went on to rape a 6-year-old girl. And sadly enough, those sort of things do happen, but we're not talking about just in the context of someone who comes from Syria and happens to be Muslim. It happens within all races, and what someone like Tommy Robinson will do is they'll take a story like that, they'll sensationalise it, and then they'll look at it through that scope and say every Muslim's a rapist.
Well, like you said earlier, I'm sure there are. Well, I know there are. There are instances where there are, like you said, like gangs that go around raping people that are Muslim, but they also do that. People that do that, like paedophile rings that are white. Like, so, I think the problem is if you focus, like, he's obviously very anti-Muslim, very anti-Islam, and you can argue for and against that if you want. Like, there are debates to be had at certain levels, like not against Muslims and stuff like that, but against,
no different to the role against Christianity.
Yeah, there's arguments against ideologies that you could have easily, but I think like with him, if you focus on one set of people, so say you there's certain people in your community and you just focus on that, well, every time they do a bad thing, that sort of reinforces what you're doing, because it's like, it's always them, but it's because you're focusing just on them. Like, if you look at it in a broader context, there are plenty of other people that do bad things. Because you're focused on that one group of people, well, every time they do a bad thing, well, it will be them, because you're only looking at those people. Like, and don't get me wrong, like you said, it doesn't, just because you're a certain race, religion, creed, whatever, it doesn't expunge you from doing bad things. Like, if you do bad things, and you do bad things and you should be punished for them.
Yeah, of course.
But that should be regardless of where you're from, who you believe in, and what how you think. It's a difficult. Thing is, people like him, they create a following. They get people behind them, and I'm not. I mean, Tommy Robinson might be a smart bloke. I don't know. I don't know a lot about him, if I'm honest. I've seen videos online, and I have seen some interviews he's done. Because this is the thing. Like, it's almost like as well. Like some people would take offence at saying that. Like, oh, I've watched some of his interviews, because people are like, oh, but you're doing this. But yeah, but you have to give, like you said, you have to give both sides, their part. Do I think he's in the right? No. Do I think what he does is wrong? Yeah, I don't think he should act the way he does. But also, there are conversations you can have, and you should look at it from both perspectives, like, because then that's how you build an argument against what he says. You have to look at what he's saying. But I don't think this is like a bigger problem that a lot of people have is, like, you'll get someone that says something very controversial, or says something that isn't necessarily seen as being politically correct, but then another side will just, rather than debate that person, or rather than say, well, actually no, I think you're wrong because of this, they just it gets like fanatical, it gets hysterical, and that's what I think he creates. He whips up so much frenzy with people, like on both sides, so people that support him and people that don't. Like, it whips up a frenzy, and people on his side, as you can see in that video, just don't give a shit. They're just, you can clearly see they're racist people. They're quite willing to get involved in violence, which, as someone who, if you're trying to develop a following, or you're trying to put your point across, you should never, ever, ever, ever condone violence, because it knocks your argument. And the fact that he's then now punching this person, to me, just shows his true colours. Like, he should be saying, right, everyone step back, don't get involved. It's nothing, you should never resort to violence in that situation, because you just undermine your whole argument. Whether he's in the right or wrong.
He's talking about these people being, his views, not mine, he's talking about these people being primitive animals who do this and do that and come into our country and steal our jobs and rinse our benefit system and all this bollocks. But at the same time, then responds by acting like a fucking ape himself and stuff.
But it's also not just him. Like, if he was by himself and someone does that and he takes a swing at him, I would almost be more inclined to be like, well, that's sort of fair enough. But it's the fact that he then has a pack of people around him, which he knows he's got around him, who then swarm this person, and he's punching them while these people are grabbing him. And it's like, I just think you should, like I said, you shouldn't condone violence. At no point should you condone violence, especially if you're meant to be, and in quotes, a leader. He's obviously a leader to some people, because some people do, a lot of people attend his rallies, and a lot of people do go along with what he says. But you should be saying, no, there's no need to get violent. But it just shows you that his argument doesn't really have any legs, because it's you should engage with the words, not with violence.
Yeah, I mean, I was about to say, I'm glad the only thing that I share with Tommy Robinson is my surname, but that's not even his fucking surname.
No, isn't it?
Stephen Yaxley Lennon?
Yeah, something.
I think it might be Stephen Yaxley Lennon, but correct me if I'm wrong. But if he was that if he was that proud of his views, then why is he scared to use his own fucking name? Because he doesn't seem to want his actual birth name attached to his rallies, because that gives you some sort of covering in some aspects of your life.
Yeah, I just think, I don't know. I think the world's in a very weird place. You either have to be on one side or you have to be another. There doesn't seem to be any middle ground anymore, and it works both ways. Like, 'cause don't get me wrong, like, I think he's a fucking idiot. I don't agree with his views, but then you have other people on the other side that I don't agree with their views, and it's all like this ultra militaristic way of looking at things. Like, there's no flexibility anymore. It's all rigid. Now, don't get me wrong, like, if you're racist, if you're this or that, then that you shouldn't be that way. It's not a case of, I'm not saying he has an argument, because I don't think he's right, but I think it's because and it's a funny video of him getting a milkshake thrown at him. Yeah, it's fucking funny. Like that, no debate about that. But to me, it does raise like more questions as to just the state of. Well, let's just take this country for example. Like, that's how people. I don't know what I'm trying to say. It's difficult to put into words. Like, it makes me worry sometimes. Like, that people would rather take action rather than speak about things. Yeah, and don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not saying debate Tommy Robinson, because I think he would. I think I've seen some of the videos where he does, like, where he's in debates and stuff, and he just repeats the same thing over and over again. He's one of those people that doesn't really. I don't know if he can back up what he says, so he just repeats it and tries to talk over people. But like, I don't know. I think there's an argument to be had, but maybe throwing a milkshake over someone isn't the same. Isn't the right way to go. But like I say, if you're gonna have very extreme views, you're gonna incite. No, I'm not saying it's right that he got a milkshake thrown over him, but you are gonna incite that into people, because people are gonna get fucking pissed off, just the same as he gets pissed off supposedly when all this stuff happens with Muslims and stuff.
It's seeing the way he acted when he first got that first milkshake thrown at him and jumping on him like a pad. It makes me just want to see him get by another one, which he did the next day.
Yeah.
And we'll try and move on from the whole milkshake thing now, but I think we should just give a quick mention that the same thing happened to Nigel Farage.
Yeah.
And again, I don't know if people have seen this video, but he sort of I think it was in Newcastle. He was walking, I don't know if he's back to his car, but he wasn't speaking at the time, and he's got his security team around him. And then someone walking head onto him, just, throws a milkshake.
But because I've seen the video, like, the bloke's there for a while in front of him. Yeah. Like, and to me, it makes you think, fucking hell, this could, like, he could have had anything on him. Like, anything. And he's got that close to someone. Well, it's like that video, do you remember that video was it last month or a few months back? Of that politician in Australia. I think he was a right-wing political figure, and that kiddie come up behind him, got his phone out, and then he like hit him in the head with an egg or something. And then the same thing happened. Like, people grabbed him, and they weren't beating the shit out of him, but they weren't gentle with him either. Yeah. But you think, like, fucking fire your security, because why are people getting that fucking close to you? Like, that's mental. Like, if that was me, I would not. I know he says, "Oh, this is a failure" and all this stuff about his security. Well, you're too fucking right, mate.
But I was about to say, I'm not saying it wasn't a failure by security, but what I found quite ironic about it is, I think his exact words were complete failure. Could have spotted that a mile away or a mile off. Now, what I found quite ironic about that is, if you could have spotted it a mile away, why didn't you fucking spot it?
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly.
Because he's walking the same direction as them, and he can see everything they can see.
Well,
the only thing I can sum up from it is that his ability to view milkshakes is his ability to view the implications of Brexit, which is not very good.
Well, yeah, it's short-sightedness. I think that could sum up the fucking government. Do you know what pisses me off more, though, is that security is probably been paid for by the taxes, and he's hired that shit of security. Did you know? I'd always rather they fucking protect him, because at least the money's actually worth it that you're fucking paying them. The fact that they're that shit and it's been paid by people's taxes, that's what annoys me even more.
Yeah.
Fucking mental. I don't like Nigel Farage.
I don't like Nigel Farage either. Unlike someone like Tommy Robinson, I'm not saying he hasn't got views that are wrong, but he's not a far right identifiable fascist. He's actually the leader of a political party, the Brexit party. Now,
well, I would argue that Nigel Farage is more dangerous than Tommy Robinson,
because he's
actually like in fucking like people.
What they're saying about the European elections, he's meant to take majority, but was I about to say? Yeah. Again, one of the things I find very ironic about Nigel Farage is he's clearly got very deep-rooted views that Britain shouldn't be governed outside of the UK. And that's a completely valid view. People are entitled to have that. You've got to remember 52% of the country voted for it and 48 didn't. I wouldn't for a second suggest there's an argument for both sides. But when he's been approached for information on the sort of policies he'd have and how he'd deal with these problems, he's just completely blindsided the whole thing. And the only thing that you seem to get much information from him about is closing off our borders and controlling immigration. And again, he seems to have a bit of a thing for irony, because this is the same bloke whose fucking wife's German.
Mad.
And she's only got a citizenship here because she married him. So what?
But that's typical politicians, don't it? They just bullshit.
You can't bake your cake and eat it. Like.
No, but this is them though. This is what they do. All they do is fucking lie. Like, I'll tell you, I'm getting fucking pissed off of when the fucking elections come round, in the local elections in the area, and you get people fucking knocking at the door. Oh, can we count your vote? I just feel like saying to him, but why don't you come back in 6 months and ask me how it's going? Because you don't do fuck all around here. You've seen the fucking roads up here. Fucking potholes the size of the lakes up here. And they say, oh, can we count your vote? No, you fuck. I just tell everyone that comes around, oh, I'm voting for you already. Because I can't be fucking UKIP, fucking Labour, fucking Conservative, fucking Lib Dem, fucking Green Party, whoever the fuck it is. I'm just like, yeah, you already got my vote, because I don't want to speak to them. The other day, I even fucking hid from them. They were outside, and I could see them going up and down the street, and they knocked on the door, and I fucking moved so they couldn't see that I was in here. And then I got up, and I thought she could see me out the window, and I was like, oh, fuck's sake, she's coming back, and she just put a little leaflet through the door. Because I fucking can't, they piss me off, politicians, so much, because all they do is, it just, all bullshit comes out. I don't think anything they say is fucking true. And it just pisses me off, because they're in charge of the fucking country. They're in charge of your area. They're in charge of the... And then people always say, well, if you're not happy about it, write to your MP. So what, you can put it straight in the shredder?
People could argue, oh, yeah, Josh Dale's just... he's just jumping on the bandwagon here of the typical people who go, oh, politics is bullshit and they don't do anything and all they do is talk shit. And to put it in context, this morning I saw a tweet by MP Jacob Rees-Mogg, who's my local MP. He's Labour. I voted for him. And a tweet put out by him basically slagging off the Conservatives and their, quote, New Deal, which isn't very new because not much has actually changed. And there's actually Conservatives who voted for our last deal who said they're now not going to because of things like the second referendum. But anyway, that aside, he was basically trying to argue against the Conservatives, which any Labour MP is going to do. And his argument was a vote for Labour is a vote for Remain, because he's obviously a Remain supporting MP. And he's saying about how if you actually want there to be the option of a confirmatory vote or referendum confirming whatever deal is put together, then vote for Labour. And everyone was saying the same thing, which is the first thing I thought straight away. When your fucking leader says that you're the party, a vote for Labour is a vote for Remain, I'll believe it. You're one insignificant MP.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like you said,
he's my local MP.
Yeah, well, like you said, people could say, oh, you just jumping in the bag when saying fucking the government's bullshit, blah blah. And I used to think like that. Like, I didn't vote until I lived here, and I've lived here for 2.5 years, and that was the first time I voted. So I didn't vote. And what am I now? 26. So I probably didn't vote until I was about 24. The first time I ever voted, and that's because there's so much like information that comes around about elections and stuff. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, to try and take on board what everyone thinks, all their policies are, what they think of this, what they think of that. Is like, as a kid or as a teenager, I didn't give a fuck about it. Couldn't give less of a shit. And then as I got older, I was like, well, no, maybe I should take an interest and I should vote, because then, like, people say if you don't vote, then you don't have, you don't get a right to moan. I don't necessarily believe that, because I think if you don't believe in any of the parties, why should you vote? But I can see, like, I don't know if we're ever going to get to a point where we don't have parties, so I can sort of see what they're saying. Like, even if you just cast like a misvote, just so I can sort of see what they're saying. So I voted in it was an election like a couple of years ago, and I voted Labour. I'm not, I don't care. Some people don't like talking about who they vote for. Like, I voted Labour. Don't for the local MP. That's fine, not a problem. And then, do you know what changed my mind about politics? It's this whole Brexit thing. So I voted to Remain, Now, that side lost. Okay, fair enough. Like, that's how democracy works. Whether it's by a big margin or it wasn't, which, you know, we know the percentages, because, like you said, you mentioned them. But, so I was fully, you know, taking that on the chin. I was like, yeah, we lost. Like, I can see there are arguments for both sides. And then, the days after, that's when all the bullshit came out. You had Nigel Farage, who was on fucking TV saying, oh yeah, we can give this much money to the NHS and we can give this much money to them and this much money. And then the day after the vote, he was going, oh, well, no, I didn't actually mean that. Oh, no, what I meant was, so it's all bollocks. And this Brexit thing, right? Like, I show minimal interest in politics, and maybe that's wrong. I don't know. But I see videos of, like, MPs in Parliament, you know, acting like kids on a playground, and I see, you know, that fucking, when Theresa May walked out, like she was fucking Conor McGregor, to that fucking, whatever it was, a press conference or something, and she walked out, like, swinging her arms about, and I just think, you're the leader of the fucking country and you're acting like children. Like, that's what annoys me. Like, I don't think politics is bullshit, because I think politics has its place if it's done properly, but you're acting like children. Like, it's like with Donald Trump. Like, I'm not from America, so people might say, well, you don't, you know, sort out your own country first. But, like, it's like Donald Trump. Like, should he be president? No, he shouldn't be president. Was he, you know, did he win election? Yes, he did. So, you know, technically he should be president. Is he the right person to be president? No. But is anyone? Like, you're in charge of how many millions of people? And that's one person in charge of that. That's fucking mental. Yeah. Like,
that power shouldn't be on one person.
On one person. It's ridiculous. But
that's something that's very different here. You don't have that same sort of power in the hands of Theresa May, because she's without her cabinet, which she doesn't any longer really have, because they're all coming out against her. They've done away with something called, there's a principle called collective responsibility. And if anyone doesn't know what that is, it basically means the cabinet are all meant to be unified in agreeing policies. Now, inside their room when they're doing their meetings, there's going to be disagreements, but they're meant to come out all together. That's not happening, because you've got MPs coming out against this new.
Well, it's all over the place. It's all over the place, and that's what pisses me off. Like, I get you're not always going to agree on stuff, and I get even in the same party you won't agree on stuff, and I get that, I understand that, but it's just no one knows what they're doing. Like, no one. It's such a shit show that I'm just like, why do we bother voting for this bullshit?
Yeah.
Because all you see is Theresa May just talking the same bollocks over and over and over again. It's almost like it's like I said before, they're like children. They're like a pestilent child. They won't know, even though they know that they could possibly be wrong. Now, I'm not saying they are to say they want to leave the EU. Like I said, you could make arguments either way, and smarter people than me can make arguments for that. I'm not going to attempt to say we should remain anymore or leave. You know, I voted remain, but that was at that point. I'm not saying I've changed my mind, but I'm just like, there's so many lies, and there's so much backtracking, and there's so much, oh no, we didn't mean this, we meant this. It's like, how are people meant to follow it?
I mean, kind of carrying on from what you were saying, that's one of the things I find particularly frustrating. Now, when Jeremy Corbyn first emerged as leader of the Labour Party, he was someone I had a lot of enthusiasm about. He's someone who appeals a lot more to the younger generation like us than maybe the older generation. Now, a lot's changed since then, and MPs as a whole, they're meant to be the people who represent communities, and they're meant to be the people that govern the country, and they're meant to be the people who do what they see to be the best for this country. Now, Labour as a party have basically been sitting on the fence for the entire time. They're not being clear on their policies. They're not being clear. They're basically, they're sitting on the fence. The concept of a second referendums, it's been stated, it's a possibility, but it's not. They've been sitting on the fence, and they're basically waiting for the government to crumble, because they hope there's going to be calls for a general election. And if you really want to put the country first, then that's not the way to be doing it.
That's exactly my point. It's not about the country. It's not about people. It's about, we want to win this, but you should want to do the best for the people. That's a good way to put it. That's the problem I have. It's not about the people anymore. And I also think the Conservatives have got it very easy, because they will just put their fucking blinkers on, and they will not shift where they think they should be going. Now, some of them might drop off and say, no, this isn't right, blah, blah, blah. But the people in charge just full steam ahead, don't care what's been put in front of them. And the thing is, they'll get enough support from people that chose to leave to carry on doing that. And don't get me wrong, that I've seen things online, and there's a number of people that said, oh, I voted to leave, and now over these last 2 years or whatever, how long has it been?
Yeah, it was in 2016.
So say over the last 2 years or whatever it's been. I've other things have come to light. I've changed my mind, blah blah blah. But there'll be enough people, and I think it's a lot of older people as well, that will stick with that idea. Not necessarily because they believe in the Conservatives, because I don't think they do. But a lot of people will stick with that idea because it's they've still got their idea of what Brexit means to them, and Brexit will mean different things to different people. So how the fuck can you? How the fuck can you not go ahead with Brexit? Because again, I know it was put down to a vote or a referendum, but how can you promise to deliver a Brexit when Brexit means different things to different people? Some people it means getting all the immigrants out. Well, some people it means controlling the borders. Some other people think it means more money for things that need doing in the UK. It's all different to everyone. How the fuck are you going to enforce that? And how the fuck are you going to keep the promises you've made to everyone? Because you've made so many different promises. And that's the problem when you get loads of different parties and loads of different political views jumping on the same bandwagon. They're all coming from different points. Like Nigel Farage's points is different to Theresa May's, and Jeremy Corbyn's points are different to them. And it's like, I know they're not all on the same side, but it's all just mental. It's fucking crazy, and I really don't know where. I want to see what happens with Brexit, because I think it will set a precedent really for what happens in the future for stuff like that. I mean, because like you say, if they go, do they go back on a referendum? Do they have another referendum? There's so many possibilities. It's and I think people get swept up in the fairy tale of, because say for argument's sake that Brexit doesn't happen, and it's it's reversed or it doesn't go ahead, and we do change government and it goes to someone else. Do people genuinely think they're going to be better off? This is the problem I have with the presidency in America. Again, I'm not I follow people on Twitter that from people from America that have different political views, because again, I still think you should know both sides of the argument, because I think it's interesting to know both sides, and that's how you build knowledge. You have both sides of the argument. If you have one side of the argument, then you haven't got an argument. But that's my problem with that presidency in America. Everyone says, "Oh, Trump's this, Trump's that, Trump's this, Trump's that." Did you see the alternative as well, though? Should Trump be president? No, he fucking shouldn't. Should Hillary Clinton have been president? No, she fucking shouldn't have been. She was the lesser of two evils. She still makes her an evil. Just because she's a lesser one, it doesn't matter. Is that what we've come to now? We've got, we've built all these fucking civilizations. We've done all this great stuff, and it's come down to that. And you think, can we not do better? Can we really not do better than that? Than a fucking orange-faced, blonde wig-wearing fucking reality TV star, or someone. I mean, Hillary Clinton's done some shady fucking shit. They're the two options you've got to run the most powerful country in the world. That's what pisses me off. Like I said, I'm not pro Donald Trump at all. I think the guy isn't fit to be president. But people shouldn't be pro Hillary Clinton either, because she shouldn't be in office. It's like to bring it back to the UK. If Labour get into, what are they going to do? Are they, because I don't trust them. I don't trust any of them. I think that's the problem. They don't have the trust of people. People put their trust in ideas, but at the end of the day, it's still someone behind that party. There's still someone in charge. They have their own agendas. They have their own, you know what I mean? I don't know. Just talking about politics just fucking winds me up.
Maybe move on to something else.
Yeah, fuck it. We'll move on. I mean, how long have we been going? We've been going an hour and 10, so maybe we'll talk about a couple more bits and then we can wrap it up. But
maybe some of the shorter stories.
Yeah, go on. You pick one and then I'll talk. I've got one as well that I want to speak about. So you have a.
Yes. Story from the Independent. The headline: French mayor offers free Viagra to residents to tackle village's population decline. So basically, this small village in France is having problems with its population, and there's the idea they might have to close local schools. So the local mayor has taken the view that he should be distributing Viagra free.
That's sexist for a start. Why not something for the woman?
Yeah, exactly. It's why not something for a woman. Now, it's like I can't really get my head around this. I'm not going back to the point of politics because I don't know anything about French politics or how much power a mayor's got. That's how can you take that seriously? This is a person. I mean. This is the person that's meant to be representing this little village, and okay, you'd understand if it was a local pharmacy distributing free Viagra.
The fucking mayor. Do you not think he's just like he just wants to fuck? Like he's using this as an excuse like to his wife. Like, look, all right, the population's going down. We just need to. Like, I've got these 4 women. Let me just pop this Viagra. Let me just deal with this. You're still my wife, but I need to just deal with this. Let me just stop and do this because we're running out of people. So
yeah, I'll take one now. I'll take one now, and then we can have sex and we can repopulate.
Yeah.
But Marcel, I'm menopausal.
Exactly. Exactly. What's the fucking like age of this village? Because some of them are better fucking old as fuck, so they can't have kids. And other kids, it's probably because it's a fucking shitty little village and there's nothing to fucking do, so everyone's moving.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like people from the country. They live in a shitty little town, so they move to a bigger city because there's more. There's more opportunities for them. There's more this. There's more that. That's probably the same fucking thing. But I love that that's someone. Only a bloke would think that up as a solution. Like only a bloke would do that. That's what makes me laugh.
If you were to erect something to bring the.
Can you imagine him bringing that up in their fucking meeting in the mayor's mansion? He's sitting around right. Brain trust meeting. We need to population. Look at this graph. Population is down. Okay, what are we gonna do about it? And then they all go around like the different things. Well, like maybe we could, put some incentives into, like tax breaks if you have a family, tax blah blah blah. Well, that's a good idea. What about you? Well, maybe like we could put incentives in for sending more kids to school so people other people might come to the area with their children. Oh, that's a good idea. I've got an idea. Why don't we? I've got these pills in my drawer. Mass produce these bad boys. Hand them out to all the blokes. They'll be stiff as wood for 24 hours. Problem solved. It's like, do you not think there's a reason they're not like? I'm sure all those blokes don't have erectile dysfunction. There's probably a reason they're not having sex. I don't think Viagra's going to change that. Like, I love that that's someone's solution to it. I love it. I really do. That really makes me laugh. That politics I can get behind. If he wants to run in this country, fucking, can you imagine what you do with Brexit? Like, if that's his solution to that, get him in.
Yeah.
Fucking get him in.
Hopefully his hard and fast solution is as hard and fast as his dick when he's popped his pills, because he's clearly solved that problem.
He's gonna be the only one taking them fucking pills. He's gonna be the only one. He'll just be walking around with a big fucking smile on his face, and no one else give a shit.
If you want to increase your town population, you need to industrialise, make it bigger, erect something like a skyscraper, not your dick.
It's far, does make me laugh.
That's just hilarious. Like they could have feasible policies, or they can just say, "Yeah, who wants a free Viagra?"
Yeah, who wants a Viagra? Just fucking handing them out their fucking food rations in the fucking war, just going mental. Get all the fucking kids having them, because that's what you get as well. Fucking kids. And then the next thing will be the fucking town is it's like the hub for teenage pregnancies. Yeah. Because they'll all just be fucking just going mental. Or it's a town of like 40 people and they're all fucking related to each other.
Oh my god, thank you, man. It's so nice of you giving this Viagra from me and my husband. Hey, if you want, I'll even ejaculate inside you. Buy one, get one free. But you didn't pay for it anyway.
No, exactly. No, that's a brilliant. Yeah, I'd love to know how that turns out. I'd love to see over the next 10 years the population increase in that town. Does make me laugh. But we'll finish on this one then that I found earlier. So I saw a story that Washington has just become the first state in America to make it legal to turn people into compost when they die. Apparently, I read the article, and apparently it's been legal in Sweden since 2005. So it's not the first place to do it, but obviously it's the first state in America. And I was reading about it and stuff, and they say they turn them into basically soil, and it passes all regulations and it passes all that stuff. And it made me think of, because I don't know if I've told you. I think I've told you. But what I want to happen to me when I die. Have I told you this?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to put it down because I think this is a good idea. Now, Steph doesn't agree with me. Whether or not she will do it, I don't know. But if I'm to die before her, my wish is that she has to put the house up for sale. The house that we live in, she has to put up for sale straight away. She then gets my dead body, gets it stuffed, right? And in like a stood up pose, like not anything but just stood there. She then has to put me in a cupboard and leave me there. She then has to move house, but not tell the people that are buying the house that I'm there. And then she just has to leave me there. That's what I want to happen when I die, if I go first.
Well, if and when you decide to write a will, just put it to me and I'll do it because I think that's fucking funny.
It is. Can you imagine the look on those people's faces when they open the fucking cupboard and I'm just stood in there, fucking dead, but like I've been taxidermy, just stood there. I think that's fucking like one of the best ideas you'll get. Or just leave me under like one of the beds or something. Just leave me there. Either that or like, yeah. But I don't want to be turned to compost. I want to be fucking scaring the shit out of someone that's just bought a house. And I hope it's a couple that have just bought their first fucking house together. And they're all excited and they can't wait to move in. And then they fucking come in and my fucking dead body's there.
Yeah.
Or put me in somewhere, but like nail me to the ground so they can't get me up either. So I'm stood in like somewhere out of the way because I don't want to inconvenience them too much. But like I'm out of the way, and just like stick me to the ground so I'm stuck there and they can't move me. And I just become part of their lives.
I'm scared to touch it.
They just use me as like a coat stand or something. I even have it so my arms are out like that so they can just put shit on me, just hang stuff on me, and just become part of their lives.
You'll be a family heirloom.
So if you're listening to this in, what am I now? I'm 26. I reckon I'll live to... Say I do another 50 years. So say I die at 76. If in 50 years' time, you come buy a house from a little elderly lady and you think she's got a husband...
Very little for the record.
Yeah, well, she'll even be even littler then.
4'3".
She'll be smaller then, she'll be old.
Yeah.
Just let me just say this. Just check all the cupboards. If there's any beds left, check under the bed. Do you know what I'd love? Is fucking to be... I just thought of this. I'd love to be left in in like a sofa bed. But like in the actual... Yeah. I don't know how you do that.
Folded up in it.
Yeah, like folded up in the bed. Yeah. So like I'm all crumpled up so when they open it, but obviously I'll be stiff. So I'll fold it, I'll open up like a fucking like at a 90-degree angle. Or like in the bit next to it where you keep all like the cushions and the pillows and stuff like that, you lift up just in there. Just leave me in there.
You know what else would be funny? Another option. You've got a few to think about. You've had a few you can't seem to choose yourself. Another one would be like, I don't know if they can do taxidermy so that your joints can still move, but
you must be able to do it. Yeah?
Do the old Home Alone trick when he's got
I'm just in the window
in the shower. No, when he's in the shower and he's pulling.
Pulling
the strings, he's dancing to it. Yeah, just leave that, but leave it on like automated little. Automated
See,
little reels.
There's plenty of ideas.
You're moving your arms, it looks like you're dancing in the shower, and they'll be like, "Who the fuck's in our new house?"
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. And then
I need to do some brainstorming actually because there's some good ideas.
But I'm hoping you don't die at the click of a finger, like in a car crash or something. If you know you're gonna die,
a car crash would be annoying because obviously I'd be.
If you know you're on your deathbed, you need again brainstorm and you need to seriously think about the face you're gonna pull.
Yeah, that's true.
When you're dying.
Yeah, because I don't want to be like creepy. I want to just be like I just want to be there. I just want to be like I don't know. I'll have to think about it because I hope I don't die in a car crash because that'd be a pain in the arse. Because I'd be all mangled in that. I need to die a lot of natural causes or some disease or something.
It can be arranged.
I'm sure it can be. There's probably people out there that'll do that for me now. But I want to live another 50 years. Yeah, let me.
If we catch some diseases, I've heard of this small town in Farage you want to move to.
What? Yeah. But no, that's what I'd like to happen. I think
they'll probably have a few diseases going around there, but erectile dysfunction ain't gonna be one of them.
Yeah, there might be a few STIs floating about. But no, I think that's a good one to end on. And like I say, if you buy a house in 50 years' time, just make sure you check all the cupboards and under the bed. And if you've got a sofa bed, then just check that as well because I might be lurking around.
And if you don't decide to keep him as a family heirloom and hang stuff off him for many years, then
just leave me outside for the bin men. Just put me outside, or put me like half in a bin, like in one of the green wheelie bins. Just put me out like that.
Or just ship him to the US because he can probably be used for compost.
Yeah, or either or. Like, yeah, where it's your choice.